guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Okay, so today we're talking about 34-year-old Samantha Lee Miller Hutchinson. She was born on March 27th, 1989 in Charlotte, North Carolina to parents Lisa and David. Samantha was described as pure light and contagious love. She had a beautiful smile, she delivered peace wherever she went, and she loved a good vulgar joke. So she is definitely my people, because who doesn't love a dirty joke? She worked as a marketing coordinator at Zentegra since January of 2020. Samantha would meet and fall in love with 36-year-old Eric Hutchinson. Samantha and her girlfriends would refer to him as the guy she met in the elevator from Utah that brought her coffee. Eventually, Eric would pop the question, and Samantha was over the moon ecstatic to become Eric's wife. And with that, wedding planning for Samantha and Eric's special day would begin. Okay, let's talk about the third player in this game and the reason that so many lives were shattered literally in the blink of an eye. 25-year-old Jamie Lee Komorowski. She was born and raised in New Jersey before deciding to move to James Island, South Carolina. Okay, so let's go over what we know about Miss Jamie Lee so far. In 2015, she graduated from Hunterdon High School in Clinton, New Jersey. From August of 2013 through September of 2014, she was a teacher's aide at Right Home Daycare in Lebanon, New Jersey. It was during this time on March 28, 2013, that her mother, 62-year-old Tracy Komorowski, would strike and kill 35-year-old firefighter Jeff Schroer while he was attempting to extinguish a fire in Clinton Township, New Jersey. Days after the crash, the prosecutor's office deemed it a tragic accident as a result of a sudden wind shift causing the smoke from the fire to obscure the emergency lights on the fire truck, and because of this, no charges were ever filed. It should also come as no shock that the family is furious that Tracy Komorowski wouldn't face any sort of consequences. From 2015 to 2020, she attended Coastal Carolina University in South Carolina, where she earned a BA in marketing and hotel resort tourism management. So, not a stupid girl. From April to July of 2019, she was a marketing intern at Consensus Real Estate in Myrtle Beach. In January of 2021, she joined Total Quality Logistics in Charleston, South Carolina, as a logistics account executive. In April of 2023, she got a job at a local restaurant bar named Taco Boy in Foley, South Carolina. Okay, here we go. Friday, April 28th, 2023. Jamie began her night at the El Gallo Bar and Grill on David's Island. From there, she headed over to Foley Beach, South Carolina, and hit up Snapper Jack's, the Crab Shack, and the Drop-In Bar. Meanwhile, on another side of Foley Beach, Samantha was marrying Alec, the man in the elevator and the absolute love of her life. Their ceremony began at 5 o'clock on the beach, followed by drinks at 5:30. Their first dance as husband and wife at 6:35. Tacos at 6:45. Party time at 7:45. Samantha and Eric would have their first dance. Samantha would dance with her father, Eric would dance with his mother, and then as a surprise, Samantha had the DJ call her mother up to the dance floor so that they could dance together to their special song for each other, Bruno Mars' just the way you are. And a sparkler exit at 9:45 p.m. where they would take their last photo ever together. From there, Samantha and Eric would get in the back of a low-speed vehicle, which is basically a safer version of a golf cart that can be legally driven on the road. Its max speed is 25 miles per hour and it has many more safety features than your typical golf cart. The LSV was supposed to take the newlyweds to their Airbnb for the night. Eric's brother-in-law Benjamin was the driver, and his 17-year-old son Brogan was seated next to his father in the passenger seat. Samantha and Eric sat back to back with them, and a just married sign hung in front of them. The last thing Samantha would say to Eric before hopping onto the back of the LSV was, "I never want this night to end." And with that, they were off. Around the same time, Jamie had left the bar scene, very visibly intoxicated, and began driving on East Ashley Avenue in the opposite direction of her home, headed right for the LSV that was carrying Samantha, Eric, Ben, and Brogan. Jamie, who was driving a rented Toyota Camry, had a blood alcohol level of 0.261, which is 3 times the legal limit. She plowed right into the newlyweds at 65 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone. The LSV and the just married sign were thrown over 100 yards and it rolled several times. 17-year-old Brogan luckily only suffered minor injuries. Samantha was killed on impact immediately from blunt force trauma while still wearing her wedding dress. Ben and Eric were both seriously injured and taken to the hospital by ambulance. Let me give you a trigger warning really quick. I'm just going to put 2 pictures up. So they might be hard to look at. So if you want to skip ahead, you can. Eric received multiple injuries, including 2 broken legs, one that had to be surgically repaired, broken bones in his face that also had to be surgically repaired, broken vertebrae in his back, brain bleeds, and numerous cuts that required stitches. Benjamin was sent to the burn unit in critical condition. He had to undergo surgery to clean out and redress his severe road rash and open wounds. Plastic surgeons addressed the fact that he would need face and hand stitches. More skin grafts after he returns home, which won't happen until he's able to put weight on his legs. In a GoFundMe organized by Eric's mom, she writes, "We are missing Sam more than anything. She instantly fit into our family from the first day Eric and Sam met. She was everything to my son and changed him for the better. She could light up a room with her presence and had an ease about her. They shared many hopes and dreams for the future, including children and building a house." The following day, Samantha's best friend would go to the crash site with flowers for her. While there, she would spot one of Samantha's earrings that she wore with her wedding gown amongst the rubble. In a post written by her friend, she says that she stood there holding her best friend's earring, shaking, crying, and wishing that this was all just a nightmare that she was going to wake up from. Jamie. She originally told officers that she only had 1 beer and 1 shot of tequila before getting behind the wheel. However, her stumbling, slurred words and blood alcohol level told a way different story. When officers asked her on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being stone cold sober and 10 being schmammered, where does she fall? To which Jamie replies that she's an 8. The effects of having a blood alcohol level equal to Jamie's on the evening of April 28th, 2023 include all mental, physical, and sensory functions are severely impaired. Accidents are very likely. There is little comprehension, and the person may pass out suddenly. After Jamie was released from the hospital, she was arrested and charged with 1 count of reckless homicide and 3 counts of driving under the influence, resulting in great bodily harm. May 23rd, 2023, on a call obtained by the Post and Courier, Jamie can be heard saying, "There are people that have killed people on purpose before, and they've gotten out on bond. I was just a freak accident. Obviously, I didn't mean for it to happen. I just feel like a terrible person. Please don't be stupid like I was, because it only takes one time." Just to be clear, this was not just some freak accident. This was a terrible decision made by a selfish 25-year-old that had zero regard for anyone else but herself. On a jailhouse phone call, she's recorded talking about the food in prison, how her life is over, and about how she doesn't even have a mat to do her crunches on. This hardly screams someone that is remorseful for their actions and genuinely sad for ruining the lives of so many people.
Is there anything you'd say to the driver?
No, I can't right now. I'd like to. I mean, she stole something. She stole an amazing human being that should not have been taken.
You know what this screams to me? To me, this screams someone that is still as selfish and self-serving as she was the day that she got behind that wheel, schmammered, without giving a fuck about who she took out. Meanwhile, during this time, Eric was released from the hospital and brought to the memorial for his dead wife of no more than 4 hours. But let's not talk about that because Jamie doesn't have a mat to do her crunches on. So, have you ever heard of such an injustice? This girl literally makes me absolutely sick. She truly does. How? Imagine that. Imagine killing somebody on their wedding day in their wedding dress and severely injuring their brand new husband and his brother-in-law. And you're worried about the food you're being served and the mat that you're not being given to do your crunches on. That screams a lot of things to me, and remorseful is definitely not one of them. But as if that wasn't enough for this family to deal with, Jamie's defense attorney filed a motion to let Jamie out on $100,000 bail while she waits for her pretrial to begin, stating that she has struggled with alcohol dependence, depression, and anxiety, and that in the past year, her family has looked into rehab facilities in both New Jersey and South Carolina. Going on to say that she will go straight from prison to a rehab facility and from there go straight to her mother's home where she will be monitored. It says that while she's under her mother's supervision, she will have no access to a vehicle or alcohol and is therefore not a flight risk. The motion would also criticize the media for focusing on the fact that she dressed up as a Bud Light girl in the past for Halloween, saying that the media is painting her as a villain who has a history of partying simply by retrieving pictures from her social media accounts. To that, I would say that a picture says 1,000 words, and although I personally have no issue with partying 7 nights a week if you want, what I do have issue with is not having any regard for the safety of the innocent people around you, especially in today's age where you can literally get a safe ride simply by pushing a few buttons on your cell phone. When I was in college, you know what? We had to have designated drivers, or we've rented limos. I've rented limos to go to bars so that everybody can go out, everybody could have a good time, and everybody could get home safely. You can do it now with the literally pushing a button on your phone. So there is no excuse. Zero excuse for it. The motion ended by saying, In light of her lack of criminal history, her strong familial support, and her peaceable character, her commitment to rehabilitative treatment, and her mother and brother's willingness to house and support Jamie while she is on release, and the multitude of conditions the court can impose in its order for bail to further protect the public and ensure her appearance, Jamie asks that the court order her release. My opinion? I feel like Jamie Komorowski should be allowed to be released while she waits for her pretrial. Just as soon as Samantha Hutchinson is able to go home to her new husband, her family, and her friends, and not a second before. Because, fuck you. It's because, fuck you. For real. All right, guys. If you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. This story's still fairly new. If anything comes out, I'll let you know. I don't know that's going to be a very long thing, but I am curious to know what she is going to get. And she better get something good. But if you're not like, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out, and I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe out there.